My name is Minseok. Please call me Jacky. Cha is my family name. Today, I'll be giving a presentation on the somewhat mysterious shadow force group and Maggie. Before we go any further, here are my colleagues, Lee Jae-jin, Kim Jun-seok, who couldn't make it here but conducted their research together. One researcher said that his hobby is analyzing malware. In my opinion, since this is already our job, I would like to suggest trying something else as a hobby. To people who are all work and no play, the creator of the Sunday virus left this message around 34 years ago. Computer virus creator in Korea also left a message to an antivirus program developer in Korea. Works hard and enjoy life. Now it's time for works. Let me begin. This is the agenda. I am highly interested in security issues in the Asia-Pacific regions and often read related news or the blog post. In January 2020, I read about the hacking incident at Mitsubishi Electronic in Japan. The Japanese media point at TIC, Aurora Panda, and MDB and black text. I was familiar with Aurora Panda and I read a document about them. While reading the report, I read the Jokes PNG malware was signed with a certificate from Korean company and wondered if there was another malware signed with this certificate. This is how my research started. I didn't expect it at first, but I encountered many different malware. On one hand, I was glad to have found something, but on the other hand, I was also worried about the time I would need to analyze all of them and write an analysis report. I believe this is to be a realistic concern for the analyst. Let's briefly talk about Operation Shadow Force. At the time, I named the group Operation Shadow Force because I could not identify the threat actor. The group has been mostly active in Korea since 2013 and in early 2020. Over 20 companies in Korea had fallen victims to it. At first, Korean government organizations were included in the targets, so I suspected the attacks to be national state-sponsored. But now we believe that there is a higher chance of the threat actor being a cybercrime organization. Trademark released an analysis report in 2015. Some malware was signed with digital certificate from Korean companies and Taiwan companies. It seems that the threat actor attacked the companies and used the stolen certificate. A variety of malware was used in the attacks, as well as many different tools that groups have developed. Some malware include the name of the developer, such as Melody, WinAgDrop, and Syrinx. Most of the impacted systems were MS SQL servers, and malware being downloaded by MS SQL servers related file indicated the MS SQL servers were highly like the intrusion point, brute force, or vulnerability attacks against the MS SQL servers are suspected. But attack vectors hasn't been known yet. This is their attack process: MS SQL server intrusion, download additional malware with AIO.exe, and modified P files with IAT-impact.exe. Load a malicious DLL file when the modified exe file is executed. This group is known to have used various malware for their activities over the last 10 years. Some malware is no longer used, and sometimes a combination of malware was used for attacks. Here is a summary of the malware and tools used in the attacks. I will go into more details about the malware and tools later on. This is overall relationship between these certificates and malware. This is very first certificate I identified. The certificate used the sign with Jokes PNG malware by the Aurora Panda group, only has the same company name and is not directly related to the Shadowforce. By chance, I found the Shadowforce group's malware. While analyzing the malware and files signed with the certificate, I continually discovered additional malware. There were 672 files signed with the 4BMB certificate at the time. While examining these files, I found strange string in a file collected in 2013. Welcome to Shadowforce. It reminds me of the string from the brain virus. Welcome to the dungeon. I checked variant of Shadowforce and found another leaked certificate from a different Korean software developer. The certificate was valid even at the time of discovery. In the file signed with the Korean game company certificate, I found Shadowforce and tools used by the threat actor. The tools that patch the P files to have its load specific DLL file is a characteristic of this group. And this tool was found until 2022. Two certificates were leaked from the same game company in Korea. I let the Korean Internet Security Agency, KISA, know about this and sent a request to the company to revoke the certificates involved. However, for whatever reason, these certificates are still valid. I checked the files signed with the certificate, those to have been leaked in 2014. Here are found Vistra and even old malware, almost 10 years ago. Examine the certificates used to sign the malware shows they simply copy the contents of the existing certificate and some were revoked. However, there are some that are still valid. This group has been active since at least 2013 and uses a variety of malware. Some malware are no longer in use. Load was found in 2018, but we couldn't find out what functions because the loaded file is missing. If you know these files, please let me know. WinStrap is an IRC boot which was in use between 2013 and 2015. The initial version, which was discovered in 2013, is an exe file, but a file that seems to have been created in November 2012 was also found. So there is a higher possibility that it was first developed in 2012. The signature string is encrypted with the actual operation with key value 7. Through this string, we could determine that great name is melody. The string provided by strings and string software solution are included in the initial version created in 2014. Strings is also found in the malware and tools created by this group. The DLL type began to detected in the spring of 2014. It seems like this malware hasn't been used since 2015. DNS2 is a malware that launched cmd.exe, and the name of the developer is WinEggDrop. Similar to other malware, it is marked with the malware name, platform, version, creation date, and developer name. The ShadowPost malware was first created in 2014 and was used until March 2020. Unlike Wixdrop, the ShadowPost malware does not have an encrypted string, but rather that string "Welcome to ShadowPost" is visible. The name of the developer is also WinEggDrop. A search revealed that information on the ShadowPost malware was released by Trend Micro in 2015. The interesting thing is that this report also mentioned that the malware was found in Korea. After first being documented in 2015, no information on ShadowPost could be found for 5 years. Bittictor was first discovered in March 2019, and variants were detected until December 2020. I found this while investigating files signed with the compromised certificate from a game company. This malware released a normal british.dll file. british.dll is developed by the Chinese company. Bittictor needs british.dll files, so some variants have this file within their resources. It has simple backdoor features, including uploading, downloading, executing, and deleting files, as well as the reverse shell. The version found in 2021 has newly added comments such as fast down, fast upload, ramp down, and ramp upload. The version found in 2022 no longer has that the port listening features. Some variants are packed. The file name of Lekka key is linkinfo.dll. Lekka key is malware with screen recording and keylogging feature. It contains RAR console within its resources. The initial version discovered in 2011 has a RAR console frame and screen recording feature. It is unknown whether the initial version was used by the ShadowPost group. Keylogging features was added in the 2018 version. The ShadowPost group used various tools, including external tools and time, but the group also developed many tools internally. Juicy Potato was used for privileged excavation. The most common file name is jp.exe, and it is usually packed with VM protect. AIO.exe was the only file name used for HTRAN. It provides various hacking-related features. This file is also used often by other threat actors. In 2019, a famous software developer in Korea was hacked. AIO.exe file was found to have been used in the attack. So at the time, it was suspected that maybe the ShadowPost group was involved. But because at least the malware and attack back method differ, it is deemed to be work of another group. It seems like the tool widely used by Chinese hacker groups. One of the most feature of Operation ShadowPost is use of these tools that modify the P files. P modifier usually come under the file name iat impact.exe. Some are signed with the digital certificate of Korean game company. While its developer is WinAgDrop, the modified P files contains the string Cynics victim. You might already be familiar with this name, so we assume that the overall program was made by WinAgDrop, and while Cynics developed it loader. The role of the modified P file is load a specific DLL file. The threat actors patch the file and would be often used by the user. And when the user executes them, malicious DLL file is set to be loaded. The malicious DLL file is usually the shadow post malware. Attacks using the tools were detected until February 2022. And it seems the tools is no longer in use. When SHCMD is executed, Cynics OS operating system appeared. At first, I thought it was a tool made by some company, but I realized it was the name of the malware developer. This name will appear again further on when I talk about Maggie. In 2019, a killer was also found in a system infected with the shadow post malware. Since December 2021, minors were found in some systems affected by shadow post group. Additional files are needed for executions, and unfortunately, we were unable to obtain them. Whereas the tools developed by WinAgDrop were also found is file access and the service and scan IPC and delete the log files. My colleagues recently discovered a stealer that steals Windows credentials. Okay, Maggie. At first, I could not find the relationship between the malware I discovered and Aurora Panda, nor identify the threat actor. So the name Operation Shadowpost was given. In early 2020, I published my report. I had hoped that someone would read my report and identify the threat actors. But even after 2 years had passed since my paper was published, no further reports had been shared. I had to track other threat actors as well and had almost forgotten about the shadow post group. When KISA released the shadow post related report in February 2022, I learned that that group was still active in Korea. Then one day. In October 2022, a blog post on the Maggie malware was published. While reading the post, I thought it was somewhat similar to the shadow post group. I contacted the authors and exchanged information. I'd like to thank Johan Dimbas for his cooperation. I am not sure if I pronounced his name correctly. A few days later, Sentinel-1 also introduced Maggie as a WIP-19. I confirmed the patch of the shared IOCs, matched the tools and file name used by shadow post group in the past, and become more suspicious of each relationship with the shadow post group. Based on the shared IOCs, I began to track Maggie. I continuously found related malware, and investigations revealed that its initial version appeared in March 2020. The shadow post malware was found until March 2020. Maggie is appeared just as shadow post malware disappeared. However, I still couldn't be confident about the relationship between these two. Maggie contains the string Maggie, the initial version, and each latest version contains a different string. The malware is in ESP format, which is used in MS SQL servers. Some examples of the included the string are SQL extension procedure and MS SQL procedures. It is a similar format to the Shadowpost malware and contains version, date, and developer. Some variants discovered after April 2022 are signed with the certificate of the Korean software developer. Maggie supports various commands. It can execute or delete file, reverse shell, download file, and obtain system information. This is a comparison of the number of commands supported by malware by year of development. The variant discovered in 2023 supports nearly 60 commands, and the number is expected to grow. I found variants similar to Maggie. Some were slightly modified or had only a portion of the feature. MS SQL hook procedure is similar to Maggie. The version that appeared after March 2023 lost find OS info from the external OS info.dll file. Unfortunately, the file could not be found. MS SQL procedure scan has a scanning feature. After scanning, it uploaded the file success.dat. It uploaded the file to the FTP server with the session name is Melody FTP. Does this name sound familiar to you? Yeah, that's right. Melody is the name of the developer of Wizdrap in the early days of the Shadowpost group. It could be a coincidence, but it seems Melody hasn't been forgotten. Melody hasn't been seen since 2015, but I found Melody in London. Yeah, it's just joking. Hook SQL uses Detour to hook a certain APIs. It acts as a proxy. Some malware are signed with the certificate of Korean software developer. This certificate was used from April 2020 to April 2023. I investigated 63 files signed with this certificate and identified 10 malwares. When Maggie was first found, research at other security companies also suspected its relationship with Shadowpost. However, while the malware is similar, WinEggDrop malware and tools are used by many Chinese hackers, so no conclusive connections could be determined beyond the suspicion. First, based on the malware used by Shadowpost group, their authors are Melody, Syrinx, and WinEggDrop. Winning egg drops from Windows. It may seem strange to people from the West. I was born in a country whose language is based on Chinese characters, and I thought maybe this name was word for word translation of the Chinese character in a name. For example, the meaning of Chinese character in my name is Cha is car, wagon, and Min is redstone, and Seok is tin. In English, I believe there are researchers from China here. I wondered what your opinion on this is, but I asked the Chinese person today, and he said it could be a TV show in China. This is an image showing the relationship between the malware certificate and authors. Now, how is Maggie related to shadow posts? Based on the following grounds, I believe there are two to be the same group. Shadow posts and Maggie both attacks MS SQL servers. Shadow posts and Maggie codes are also similar. However, because WinAgDrop had created many malware and tools, it is difficult to determine that the two are the same group based on the malware and tools alone. A close look at the period when the malware was discovered shows the shadow post malware was detected until March 2020, and Maggie appeared from March 2020. Of course, it could be a mere coincidence. Some malware include the author names WinAgDrop as Cynics. Cynics was not included in the initial version of Maggie malware and was found in the balance samples from 2023. These two names, which are the authors of a shadow post group, were also found in the Maggie malware. Besides malware, the tools and the PyLam also matched. This is no possibility of a different group coincidentally having a similar habit. And here is something that could be the conclusive evidence. This is a string that was discovered in the last shadow post malware in March 2020. Maggie is my love. Yes, this is the power of love. It's a love story. Maggie seems to be a name of the malware's author's lover. Based on these grounds, I believe that the shadow post group also created the Maggie malware. To WinAgDrop or Cynics, I'm not sure if you will be watching this video. I wish you a beautiful love life with Maggie, but please don't make any more malware. Based on such evidence, I believe Maggie to be a malware used by shadow post group. I will allow Maggie to the shadow post group. Now, for the conclusions, the shadow post group has mainly been active in Korea since 2013 until present. When I first released the report in 2020, I was unable to pinpoint that the threat act and though someone would identify them. However, no report was released afterward, and shadow posts was still found to be active 2 years later. The attack method involved SQL Server intrusion through unknown method, after which HTRAN is used to download the malware file, and certain EX files are patched to load a malicious DLL file. Since 2021, it has installed the coin miners, showing a strong purpose of finance gain. In the fall of 2022, information on the Maggie malware was released. Maggie also attacks MS SQL servers and was reported in the Asia-Pacific regions, including Korea and Japan. With similar coding style, authors' names, and file name, and the same tools, Maggie has close ties with the shadow post group. I believe this to be the shadow post group's latest campaign. But in early 2023, when I first used ChatGPT, my question was if it knows about the shadow posts. ChatGPT replied that it did not. The malware is so little known that even ChatGPT did not know about it. Of course, ChatGPT nowadays gives a reply about the shadow posts. Questions remain. What is their attack vectors? And what is the reason that there is a higher number of reports from Korea, really? Because it is mostly active in Korea. How can this be so little information on the groups that has been active for over 10 years? The question is linger. I will end my presentation with this mysterious still pending. If you have any information related to ShadowPros and or Maggie, I would be very grateful if you could share it with me. Yeah, thank you. Thank you for listening.
Thank you, Jacky.